Can you tell me a little bit about why you decided to speak the way you did on that day? What it was that got you going and why you did it?
I can. I've actually kept the handwritten notes that
Good.
I wrote while I was in the chamber, so I'm not sure what I'll ever do with them, but I do still have
Archives.
them. For when I first became Prime Minister, I thought to myself then, I don't need to put in the foreground being a woman. Of course, I want to speak for women. Of course, I want to govern for women. Of course, I want to do good things for women. But I didn't think I needed to put it right in the foreground because it was just so obvious, and it was going to be commented. It was going to be commented on, and it was going to be so much of what came to define my prime ministership without me constantly pointing to it. And then as, the days in office went on, it just seemed to me increasingly I was getting the burden of this, that sort of, misogynist underside, and really none of the benefits that could come with being the first female Prime Minister because I wasn't putting it in the foreground. So all of this sort of swirled round. Obviously, I did want to speak to women, and we did some policies which were terrific for women, equal pay, social and community services workers and the like. But this was all, in and around me, in my head, in the environment, in our politics. And then we got to that parliamentary debate, and I must admit it was a, sort of crack point in my thinking that I thought, after everything I've had to see on the internet, after all the gendered abuse that I've seen in newspapers that has been called at me across the dispatch box, now of all things, I've got to listen to Tony Abbott lecture me about sexism. And that's what, gave the sort of emotional start to the speech of "I will not." And once I'd started, it just sort of got a life of its own.
Get it, Emma. But then, of course, that very same Mr. Abbott accused you of using the gender card. Now, why is it that this expression is used whenever women stick up for their rights?
Oh, I wish I knew. It just amazes me that we can be having this infantile conversation about gender wars, and so you really feel like and it's Mr. Abbott, but it is far broader than the current Prime Minister. You just feel like saying, well, if it was your daughter and she was putting up with sexist abuse at work, what would you advise her to do? Because apparently, if she complains, she is playing the victim and playing gender wars, and if she doesn't complain, then she really is a victim. So in your analysis, what does this woman do? And we've got to be able to say, strongly to women and girls, you've got a right to an environment that treats you with respect, treats you as an equal, and raising your voice about that isn't starting a war, it isn't playing the victim, it's just asking for what simply is right.
Equality. Yeah.